Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to take the absolutely breakneck, chaotic pace of mobile app development and distill it down into an actionable roadmap. Look, let's be honest right out of the gate here. App development is moving way faster than most businesses can actually keep up with. What worked flawlessly even 2 years ago, it kind of feels like ancient history today. Frameworks are changing literally overnight. User requirements are completely different, and features that used to be considered luxury add-ons are now just the bare minimum standard. Navigating all of this requires so much more than just solid coding skills. You need a strategic vision. So let's cut through the noise and build your 2026 blueprint.
Here's exactly how we're going to break this down. First, users evolve faster than tech. Second, the app's brain. Third, the app's body. Fourth, the engine room. And finally, experiences, not products.
All right, let's jump right into section 1. Users evolve faster than tech.
You know, when an app fails or just starts falling behind the pack, the easiest excuse is to say, well, the framework's just updated too quickly, or the whole tech landscape just shifted on us. But the reality check, the harsh truth that most tech blogs totally gloss over, is that businesses are falling behind because users are actually evolving faster than the tech itself. It's not your code that's outpacing you, it's the person tapping the screen. Their expectations are just skyrocketing by the minute.
Just listen to this consensus pulled straight from the developer trenches over on Reddit and X. Users expect apps to think for them. Let's be real, as consumers, we've all gotten a little wonderfully lazy, right? Nobody wants to hunt through nested menus or manually configure their settings anymore. And this single massive shift in expectation is forcing the whole industry to accelerate toward hyper-personalization, seamless automation, and real-time responsiveness. Moving right along, let's dive into section 2. The app's brain.
Slapping an AI label on a clunky, confusing app just to ride the hype train won't just fail, it's going to actively ruin your product. AI is no longer just this cute little feature you bolt on right before launch. It has to be the fundamental backbone of the whole application. The apps that are actually winning out there, they use artificial intelligence like an invisible broom, quietly sweeping away friction and predicting the user's next move before they even realize it's happening. Users might not say this out loud to you, but their thumbs absolutely will. If your app doesn't hyper-personalize, it gets deleted. Adapting to behavior seamlessly, predicting needs, and tailoring the journey, these aren't cool perks anymore. They are basic survival requirements for 2026. If an app feels generic or tries to shove the user into some one-size-fits-all box, it just will not survive on their home screen. It's really that cut and dry.
To wrap up the brain of your app, you absolutely have to lock down trust. People are more cautious about their data right now than they have ever been, and rightly so. We're seeing this massive demand for transparency and way stricter compliance requirements. You have to have secure authentication, robust data encryption, and a privacy-first design built in from day one. Privacy and security, they are no longer optional updates for version 2.0. They are absolute deal breakers. Apps that ignore trust simply do not survive.
Okay, let's shift gears to section 3, the app's body.
The era of happily downloading a dozen totally isolated apps to manage your daily routine, that is completely dead. We are officially in the age of the super app. Users do not want 10 different icons clogging up their phones. They want one unified ecosystem that perfectly integrates messaging, shopping, services, and payments into a single, cohesive interface. Building this interconnected ecosystem is vastly more important today than launching some standalone, single-function tool.
And this massive evolution in ecosystems is being completely fueled by 5G. But look, 5G isn't just about downloading a 4K movie while you wait in line for coffee. It's the invisible, heavy-duty infrastructure that makes incredibly complex AR, pristine real-time streaming, and massive cloud processing feel weightless on a mobile device. This is the tech that's actively pushing the boundaries of what a phone can physically handle.
And because of that solid 5G foundation, augmented and virtual reality aren't just experimental gimmicks or clunky toys anymore. They've become highly practical, everyday tools, and this transition is happening right now. Whether we're talking about a retail app letting you do perfectly scaled virtual try-ons, real estate platforms offering interactive property tours, or crazy complex enterprise training simulations, immersive tech is officially a core part of your 2026 blueprint.
Now, this total shift in expectations carries over heavily into the on-demand space too. Think food delivery, ride-sharing, or digital healthcare. It used to be that pure speed was the only metric you cared about. Today, users expect incredibly complex background logistics to happen flawlessly and instantly. Speed is just the baseline. Intelligent, real-time tracking, smart recommendations, and a totally seamless user experience, those are your new competitive differentiators.
Which brings us nicely to Section 4, the engine room. Look, getting a minimum viable product off the ground doesn't mean draining your entire budget on a huge engineering team anymore. Low-code, no-code, and cross-platform frameworks like Flutter or React Native will get you off the starting line incredibly fast. They're cheap, they're accessible, and they work. But you've got to watch that cons column, because when you hit the wall of intense scaling, need complex custom integrations, or want to render high-end performance, you still fundamentally need human expertise to cross the finish line. The technology accelerates the start, but experienced developers secure the finish.
And finally, Section 5, experiences, not just products.
Time for a harsh reality check. Building an app has literally never been easier. The tools are everywhere. But building a relevant app, one that people actually decide to keep on their precious phone storage, is incredibly hard. Which begs the million-dollar question: why are so many modern startups still failing?
When you dig into real, candid conversations between developers and founders, a clear pattern of lethal mistakes pops up. Businesses fail when they blindly chase tech trends without a strategy, or when they just cram their apps full of features for the sake of having them. But let's be completely blunt. The absolute biggest mistake? Business is building apps for their own egos. They build for the founders, not the users. They fall in love with their own brilliant ideas instead of focusing on solving actual, tangible problems for the people downloading the software. That trend has to end.
So, if we strip away all the tech jargon, ignore the flashy frameworks, and drop the buzzwords, your strategic blueprint for 2026 really just comes down to mastering 3 fundamental steps. Step 1, intelligence, apps that think, adapt, and learn. Step 2, simplicity, fewer clicks, faster actions. And Step 3, ecosystems, apps that connect instead of isolating the user. Master these 3 and you're golden.
The biggest shift happening in tech right now is that apps aren't just viewed as products anymore. They are experiences. The brands that are going to win this race are the ones delivering instant value and seamlessly solving real-world problems. So I want to leave you with a provocative thought to make sure you don't just keep up with the market, but actually lead it. Take a hard look at your current roadmap and ask yourself, are you just building a product stuffed with features, or are you crafting an experience that people actually want to use every single day? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope this blueprint helps you go out there and build the future.